Hey, what's going on, everyone? Nick here. This video is going to be another ads video, and it's not going to be a long one. I just really want to I need to go over the next step. It's kind of an extension of the last video where we talked about custom audiences and lookalikes, and I'm going to show you using lookalikes in this video, and I'm also going to update as well in the beginning here. I think at this point of the videos, this is video number 17. So in keeping up with our progress and just showing you and really proving this drop shipping business model, I wanted to take a minute in this video just to show you what's going on here with the store. This month so far, you can see it's the 8th. We're at $1,200 in sales. I had one low day in here for sure, that $47. But right now, basically, now this day's not over. So if we take the last week, okay, so if we go 1,200 divided by 8, that's still pretty good. All right, so we're averaging $152 days right now, okay, in sales. And that is outstanding because basically what that means is videos 1 through 17, if you're brand new, all right, here's, a lot of times we get focused on the big screenshots, right? We see everybody, including myself, that have posted shots in the background of making just massive amounts of money in a short period of time. Like doing $80,000-$90,000 a month or something like that with Shopify. And of course, those numbers are possible, and what you should be striving towards, even if that much money is not necessary. The point is that you can do that with this if you find the right products, and it can take off that quickly. So you should keep that in your mind, that those are the goals that you're working towards. But at the same time, this is where it all starts, right? Every Shopify store is going to start with those $100 days and then move up from there. So I'm really happy to be at this point with you guys in video 17 and showing that we're consistently doing basically $152 a day right now, mostly on autopilot from the 2 products I'm running. As you can see here, the only products I have going are these 2, which are my top 2 products. I did have this running up until just like a day or 2 ago because it's just kind of fizzled out. But I've had some random sales here and there in my store from just different ads I've run in the past and things like that. But for the most part, at this point, we're now looking at $150 a day with an average of right around $40 ad spend. We'll say I'm going to round it up. Actually, I'm going to round it to 35 because that's like right in the middle of what we see here. So let's just say we're at $35 ad spend and we're doing our $150 in average. All right, so we're at 4.4 times ad spend. So we're over 4, basically, which is good. And the reason that I'm stressing that and breaking these numbers down, because I don't want you to base anything in what you've learned off of my opinions, all right? I want it all to be based off of facts and results. And the facts and results right now are that using modules 1 through 16, you can get started and get yourself to $150 a day, which is almost 4.5 times ad spend. And basically at that level, what that means is you're probably making about $50 to $60 in cash a day. All right, so that's starting to approach a full-time income online. $50 a day is not quite a full-time income. I mean, you're looking at like $1,500 a month, but you're getting there. You're getting closer. And here, the process really just becomes repeating this. All right, there are every now and then those products that you can scale large and just continue to scale. The mermaid blanket may be something like that. I've been seeing a lot of success with this so far in starting. I have a lookalike I created. I'm running this at $15 a day, but there's a lot of room to stretch here. I've reached 16,000 people out of my original audience of like 800,000, I think. And down here, I barely reached any. And this is off to a really good start. So there are products that you can scale and do well, which I will continue to try and scale that. And the wheat socks I will continue to scale. And hopefully I can take that up to maybe $500 days would be awesome if I could, or that would be the next milestone, really. But for getting bigger sales, it really just comes down to having the more winners you have going, the better you are. You can't count on that one winner to find that and hit that home run. If you're counting on home runs, this game may be a lot more difficult for you. Not saying it can't happen, but more often than not, the people you see out there that are doing very well are selling multiple items. Now, they might be selling multiple items in the same niche, or they might be selling multiple related items, but chances are it's not just one or two products that are making them a ton of money. Now, yeah, that can happen that way, where one product can make you $20,000, $30,000. I just saw a post from somebody the other day. One product made them like over $200,000. So that's definitely possible. I'm just telling you, get in the mindset of the more products you have running, the more successful you're going to be. Because one of those products may take off and be a monstrous winner, but in the beginning, as you're getting started, you want to be looking for several winning products so you have some consistent income flowing through your store on a weekly basis. So if we customize this look, and let's say we go the last 2 weeks, which would be 8th to the 1st to the 25th. All right, you can see we've done $2,300 in that period of time. And I'm showing you this because I want to show consistency. All right, so 23, 21 divided by 14 is $165 a day. All right, so again, that's showing you consistency, because from here, I'm not going to keep making videos going over the same stuff, and that's why I want to kind of wrap a lot of this up here, because the videos now 1 through 17 are done and they're not getting changed and they're finished. So if you're having trouble, you're just having trouble on finding a winning product, or you're not understanding the ads. Like, all of it's there and it doesn't need to be repeated because it's all there and it's all proven to work at this point to get you to the $150 days on autopilot. You know, I haven't really touched my ads at all over the past 2 weeks. So that's kind of what I wanted to prove to you. And now to get to that next level, I have to continue to scale these items and find some more winners, because a store based on 2 winning items is, you know, again, it can work, but it's probably not going to last long. So that's really a matter of just repeating steps 1 through 16. All right. Now, obviously, you don't have to repeat the steps of building a store all over again. So you're really just repeating the steps from modules 5 and 6 on, because that's where it's all at. It's about finding products, researching your audience, testing products, monitoring your ads, and getting more stuff up. That's the same thing that John Mack confirmed in his webinar the other day, which was awesome, because it showed me that our systems are basically the same. So what you're using, you can be even doubly more confident in, other than my evidence that he's using the same thing and he's done millions of sales. And the biggest difference between him and I are that, or you as well, is simply that he's tested more products, he's launched more products, so he's scaled more products. All right. And I tell you that from experience in my other winning items and stores. It's a handful of products that are doing all of that, and I'm building on those collections and selling more related items and products to that niche. So getting into the ads, showing you what's going on here, I'll look at the top 3 ads that I was running. So this is a fairly newer item that's selling very well, and my cost per purchase is much lower than you see here. Again, it's frustrating with Facebook not catching everything. It's only showing 26 total purchase. Now, I don't have my overall orders up for this, but you can see just here my top products in the last 2 weeks is 34 of these or more, and it's more than that for sure. So it's only tracking that, because see, that's tracking the colors. So it's tracking 34 just between 2 colors on this item, and Facebook is only tracking 26 purchases. So I'm getting screwed a little bit there, because obviously this ad is working better than it's indicating. I mean, I'm not getting screwed. It's just it's frustrating to have to watch and see that my cost per purchase and then try to have to figure it out myself. But if we just base it on a fair estimate of saying I've done 40 total sales on this, because we're already showing 34, and I can imagine at least 8 or 6 more in different colors. It's probably much higher than that. But let's just say 40. So we've spent so far a total of $210 and 76 cents divided by 40 is $5.27 cost per purchase. So Obviously much lower. My cost per purchase is awesome right now if you're counting it by order. My cost per item, let's say, my cost per item, which is really what matters. All right, it matters how much I'm spending to get a sale on each item, because that's where my turnaround is on these. So my profit margin isn't necessarily as high as I'd like it to be. If we assume a $5 cost per item on these right now, and the average sale without a discount is $25.95, then, and I'm sourcing them at $16, then I'm making just under $5 on each purchase. But again, at that point, you're still printing money. All right, every $5 in is another $5 in pure profit out. So I will continue to scale that as far as I can. That's the price point is based on where I could get people to purchase. All right, I wanted to sell this I would have loved to sell this at $30, but I dropped price on it until I got to 20 and started selling a lot of them. I dropped price from 30 to 25, and then I got to 20 and started selling a lot. And I actually upped my shipping $1 each, so I increased it a little bit. So it's $5.95 shipping and $20 on the sale, so I'm making $25.95 on these. So that's everything really that I wanted to show you here. Other than I have the original audience going, and this is a lookalike audience. All right, so I showed you how to create your audiences in the last video, where I took the mermaid blanket views. All right, so in the last video, I took this audience here, mermaid blanket views. I've had 500 people view that product alone, and then I created my lookalikes off of that. Now I'm only testing right now the 1%, which is a 2 million size audience, and that's all I'm testing is just straight lookalike on this. So if I open this up, and we look at what this looks like, this is where you choose your lookalike when, excuse me, when you go to create an audience, you do it right in here. You just type in whatever you're looking for, and then select from the audience down here. All right, and it'll give you your audience size. Mine's all women, of course, because this is a product I've only been targeting women since the beginning, and I didn't layer it with anything. So if you were to layer it here with, like, say I type in blanket, what that does is then they have to be part of this custom audience that Facebook created, and then also match the interest that you put in here. So you can see it cuts your potential audience down a lot, but it can make it even more targeted when you do that. For this, since it's a more general item, I wanted to see how we did on just the lookalike alone. So I did the lookalike audience by itself, no layering, optimized as always, automatic bid, 7-day conversion window, and there you go. That's what this is. Relevance is a 9. So far, doing very well in the first $24 spent. I'm sure that I have more than 3 purchases on this. And of the 3 purchases, I'm sure several of them bought more than 1, because a lot of people on this item are buying 2 or 3 or 4. I think my biggest order was 5 of them, or no, 7 of them. Somebody ordered 7 of them at once. All right, and then obviously when people order more, I make more on the shipping because I'm not paying shipping on these items. So the more people order, the more my profit margin goes up on these. All right, so that's the kind of stuff you need to consider. That's going back to why selling variant items is good, because it gives people more options. Same thing with the weed socks. My cost per purchase, I'm still just running this one audience on this. I tested a lookalike for men. Right here, you can see I tested a lookalike audience for men, but I wasn't getting any purchases, so I killed that. So right now, I'm still just running the all weed magazines. And basically, just to walk you through the process here of what I've done. The process here is, you remember in the beginning, I was testing out both men and women on the weed magazines. All right, over time, I narrowed it down to women were by far and away purchasing a lot more than men, even though their clicks and their conversions were pretty close. So I ended up starting to focus on just women after testing men, and from there I started to break out age groups of women, and found that 18 to 21 wasn't really purchasing much. So I also tested some of the different weed magazines for women as well. And in the end, what I ended up narrowing down to after all of that is that the top 4 weed magazines all grouped together, and 21 to 44 women was my audience. And as you can see, it's doing very well. All right, again with this one, my excuse me, my cost per purchase on each item is much lower. People are ordering, this 34 purchases, even if that was correct. This is not correct. The number's much higher than that. But even if that was correct, you would be looking at least doubling that number, because my actual purchase per order is like at least 2 minimum socks. There's very few people, I think only a handful, have actually ordered only 1 sock, or 1 pair of socks, I should say. So the rest of them are ordering double or 3 or 4, or sometimes even up to like 16 or 17 in an order. And the shipping, first of all, is expensive. When they get up to 10 items, I'm counting that as like 10 pounds shipping. So that's, almost $9.95, I think, or $10.95 in shipping. So that starts to build my profit margin a lot more, because I'm only paying 1 cost on the shipping, and then my cost per purchase is much lower. Again, I'm just gonna safely assume that this is at least 75. All right, that's a little less. That's more than doubling it. So let's assume 65. Okay, that's a little less than doubling it, which means my cost per purchase is going to cut in half. I don't even need to do the math. If I double this, this cuts in half to $2.10. And my average purchase, even if they only get 1 sock, is $7.90, because it's $4.95 shipping on a $2.95 or on one. I'm sorry, I gotta add this up. I'm getting confused on myself now. It's $4.95 shipping on a $1.50 sock, so $6.45, and it cost me. All right, so I'm making at least $1.50 on each, with my cost per purchase being at least halfway. But my cost per purchase is honestly probably under $2. Again, going by item, my cost per item sold is probably under about, under $2 somewhere. So again, it's not bad. This is an item I can scale. I've only reached 76,000 people out of an audience size of 700,000. So potentially I could sell another 10 times the 70 socks that I've sold. So looking at selling 700 socks times $1.50 is bringing back over $1,000 in profit, and that's on the low conservative end, and that's only with the first audience. That's not lookalikes, and that's not going really broad yet. So that's how you can scale an item and understand where your margins are at. And for the cheapness of which I'm getting clicks and engagement and conversions, this is going to be something that I predict being able to run for a long time. My CPM is only $1.35, so just absolutely amazing for all aspects with this one, and profitable as well. So we'll continue to run this, and we'll continue to scale this probably to $20 here in the next day, and then start branching out into some new audience and some lookalikes as well. So if I wanted to create a lookalike on this one, I could come here, create similar, and basically just keep it the way it is, but go lookalike. I already tested men, so I already came in here and tested men the one time. Custom audience, lead socks, views. Oh, no. I want the lookalike, not the views. Alright, so I want the lookalike. Okay, so as you can see right now, it's only 330,000 because I have all these main interests in here. If I get rid of them all, I'll be at 1.2 million people on just women that I can scale this to. So keeping all that the same, start at $5. Let's see how that does. optimized for add to cart still. And we'll just test that out and see if that has some great potential as well. All right, moving on. The last one I want to show you is another one that did not work. I actually created a lookalike for this too. It must have been in a separate campaign. But I don't think the lookalike worked for this. And unfortunately with this item, I didn't realize when I started selling this how many people were selling this already. And some people in the group notified me of that when they saw me selling it, and they told me, they showed me some examples of other people that have sold this. And so there could be some product blindness on this because everybody's probably hitting the same type of market. I think we all understand that this type of market is going to be not only people that like elephants, but people that are into that kind of that hippie, bohemian, gypsy kind of deal, electro threads, that's like targeting those kinds of interests. So anyway, I just wanted to show you why I stopped this one. All right, because you'll see this too as your ads run. Like I was making sales, but it was getting too expensive. All right, now again, my cost per purchase being probably a little bit lower than this because I sold more than 8. Still at that level, everything else is good, but we have to understand and know when it's time to shut an ad off. So if your cost per purchase starts to creep way into the red, remember we talked about green light, yellow light, red light. Red light is when it's way over where you want it to be, and once it gets to that level, it's not coming back down. All right, it doesn't matter if you decrease the budget or what you do, it's not coming back down. So you just want to kill it when it starts getting too high. All right. I guess that's all to be said about this. So this product is done. I may go on to testing some of the other ones because I have a few of these. I separated them all out to be individual products. But I may test it from a different page. I was testing everything from that page I created called Bohemian Styles. I may create something more generic of a page to run these posts in the future. And that's really everything. All right, this shows you how you can be running ads and be doing 4 or 5 times ad spend on either low price products or high price products. Okay, this is something I've been testing out, adding a little bit of exclusivity in the opening line, letting them know it's not sold in stores, calling it a bold and social exclusive. Now another thing that you'll notice, and this is where some of my attention needs to be on right now, is when people start to buy items, they will buy other items along with it. So a good example of that is Harold Hartman here, who bought the weed socks, and then he also bought these 2 items to go along with it, the mini beer bottle concealed pipe and the mini revolver pipe and grinder. So that's interesting to note because one of the things I've said in the beginning is once you start finding a good niche and you start getting a lot of traffic to a certain item is when you can start adding some highly relevant related items that will show up at the bottom of the page. So I actually did that. I went into my products yesterday and I added some, where are they? I added a wine bottle version. Oh, and these mini bullets. All right, now I already had somebody, I was stupid, I forgot to set the price of the mini bullet. So I already had somebody order one, but it was for $0. And I had the mini wine bottle that I added as well. That way now, when people come to the product page and they go to buy a product, I'm not using an upsell app or anything yet. They'll see if they scroll down here, I have a really good related. Oh, and this concealed lipstick, which is great because this is a women's product. So now I have a really good related collection that I think will be highly relevant and appeal to the type of person that is interested in weed socks. All right. not using an upsell app is something I'm simply doing, not because I don't know that they don't work. I have heard that it's hard to get them to work effectively and actually increase conversions. But the real reason that I'm doing that is because I want to show you guys how you can make the process as simple as possible and make that front end money. All right, so of course I know that there's upsell apps, there's email marketing, and there's back end type of ways that you can start to increase conversions. Personally, I'm waiting for Market Hero, which is a brand new autoresponder that is finishing up its Shopify integration and is going to be able to keep it very cost effective, unlike some of these other ridiculous email things that like MailChimp and Clivo that you can get for Shopify. Market Hero will do all the same stuff. It'll be able to segregate people based into lists based on what they've purchased and then create follow-ups for them and broadcasts and all kinds of stuff, and even tell you your customer value and everything that MailChimp can do, but cheaper and more intuitive, it looks like. And same thing with Clivo as well. So I'm going to be using that in the future, and we'll probably talk about email marketing and some other stuff at a certain point. But the most important thing for me in the beginning was getting you guys to a point where you saw how to start doing $100 days consistently. That's the first step in e-commerce, right? $100 days, $1,000 a week, and then starting to focus on getting to that next level of $1,000 days or $500 days, right? Celebrate the halfway point on the way, because it's a big jump. All right, it's certainly not, it's not difficult, but it's certainly not easy either. You may have to test a lot of products. But right now, I'm letting my stuff run and recouping money that I lost in advertising in that first month when I went really, really hard, just testing a lot of products. Now I'm operating at a 4.5 times ROI. So, give it a week and I made back double what I spent already in profit by getting $1,000 in sales. So that's kind of the way that you can even out when you're testing to getting a winner or two and letting you know that that money does come back to you in the winners. And then once you're at a good place again where you've gotten a few Shopify payments dropped in your bank account and you got your money back, then you can start testing again on some new products, which is really where I'm at. Going to be testing some new products, testing the lookalike audiences, as you can see on my winning products, creating highly relevant collections. The mermaid blanket may be difficult because I don't know. I'll probably go to Amazon and see what comes up as a cross-sell or an upsell when I type in a blanket. I don't know what will. But adding some highly relevant to collections for the traffic already coming. At this point, you could consider trying an upsell app if you wanted to, or a cross-sell app. I just personally, again, my purpose here in the store is to just show you guys how to get to that front end, making sales and being successful, because then the back end is just extra. And sure, you can make more money on the back end, but at this point, you have an e-commerce business building. All right, you've seen it live as we've done it. It's building. It's getting ready to go to the next level of starting to do $500 days by simply adding a few more winners and scaling the ones we already have. And then when you get to a point, if you have a bunch of winners that all have good size audiences and you've been scaling them for a while, that's when you start to break into the $1,000 days, right? And it just keeps going from there. It's an ongoing process. You will find products that have a huge audience potential and a lot of time to be run. You'll find products that just get you a couple sales and you're done. But all of that's going to contribute to your daily, your weekly, and your monthly goals. And you need to figure it out based on what your goals are. So, if you have monthly goals of being at a certain level of, say, doing $5K a month, then you can see right here, I've shown you at the bare minimum that 2 products can make you $1K a week, all right, based on low selling, a $20, $25 sale, and generally, the weed stocks range anywhere from $7 to $25 as well. But low end sales doing $1,000 a week with 2 items. All right, so that's $4,000 a month at that range. So really, just adding a third item would get me to $5,000 a month. So you can see how you got to test and where you got to be. If you want to get to $10,000 a month, then you should probably start focusing on doubling your efforts and having at least 5 or 6 good winning products that are running and have decent million size plus audiences that you can scale into, collecting those lookalikes and building that out. All right. Yes, every now and then you will be able to find that one product that can make you 10K a month on its own. I'm just saying that that's not the more likely course of action. You're more likely to find that product in all of your testing to find your 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 solid winners. And just remember I would make a really good goal for you if you really want to ramp this up and take it to the next level, 10 winners. To have 10 winning products running, maybe not all at the same time, but to have them like within, a month span, getting 10 winning products going. And think about it, to do that based on our 80-20 rule, that means you're probably going to have to test like 50 products at the minimum to get 20% of them being winners. So that's a lot of products to test. If you're going to test 50 products over the course of a month, that means you're testing about 12 to 15 a week. All right. So, that takes effort. That means you're putting out, assuming you only work during the weekday, then that means you're putting out 2 to 3 a day and getting ads launched on them. All right. So you get into a cycle, add 2 to 3 products to your store, and then launch 2 to 3 products each day. And you can kind of have a rotating basis as you go. And that way you're going to start scaling and building. All right. So that's everything I have for this video. You saw how I scale, and basically I just will continue gradually increasing these audiences, my daily budget on these until, the maximum allowable, I think, for the audience size I have, which on both of these, they're both like 800,000 size audiences on the original. So I should be able to scale them to, $25, $30 a day easily, as long as the cost remains consistent and the purchases remain consistent. And then finding a few more of these and scaling them the same way. That's the process, guys. It's simple. Yes, there are certain items you can scale harder or more aggressively, and some that will go really big for you. But we have, up to this point now, proven the business model and what we can do just using the micro ad set theory, where we're starting with small budgets where you can test a lot, save money, not be blowing a lot. Find your winners, find your niches, start adding more related items, scaling those gradually, building your custom audiences and lookalikes, finding your new interests and new ad sets that you can test that don't overlap the existing ones you already have. For example, with the weed socks, like if we wanted to break into test a different audience, for example. Now I have the lookalike going, so I don't know if I'm going to do this, but excuse me. What I mean by don't overlap is you can do this 2 different ways. First of all, don't target the ones you're already targeting. But what I can do is copy them. I can put them in the exclude. Didn't work. But there's a lot of weed magazines, right? So I can just go to weed, I guess. The weed blog is not something that I had in there. So I can do the weed blog for 20 friends, cannabis world, maybe some smoke weed interests, cannabis planet, just throwing a bunch of stuff in here. Smoking weed, Cannabis Planet TV. So this isn't a very big audience I'm building here right now. I'm not digging too deep. I'm just looking in the suggestions. But basically, I could just continue to do that, and I could build out audiences like that and just test different ad sets based on different interests. And if you're worried about them overlapping, then you can narrow the audience, or not narrow the audience. You can exclude people based on your original ones. Now you might find as you do that, obviously, that it's going to make this audience smaller, but that's not a bad thing because that lets you know you're not hitting the same people by doing that. So that's one way you can do it, or you can just test some bigger. But for me, that's personally a lot of times why I let the original run for a while before branching into a new, bigger ad set, unless I'm running a lookalike, because I want my focus to be on finding new winning products. All right, that way I can have several winners running at once. And when I have several winners running, they will all continually scale. And now I've set myself up like I showed you in the beginning, and like I'm actually doing and living right now, where you can be making, like, for example, I have my other store running, and it's not going to last forever. I mean, no product is generally going to last forever unless you just found the golden goose of e-commerce. So, I have my products running though, and I've scaled them all to like the $15 to $30 a day range, with my highest ones I think being at $40 a day right now, and it's bringing in a consistent 2K a day. Right? And so I'm not really doing much of it at all. I'm paying my VA to manage the orders and the customer service, checking in on the emails every now and then while I focus on another business, while I focus on another opportunity and do whatever I want to do. All right, so there's different ways you can make this business model work for you. I'm showing you one that I feel like is a very beneficial, low start, high gain type of business model you can run with e-commerce. The only trick is you can't be lazy. You got to continually try to find some winning products. And once you do, once you have, like on the other store, I think it's 10 to 15 winning products that I'm running on the audiences that I have, some of them into their lookalikes, some of them not. None of them at the third level or the fourth level of scaling yet. Then you can have those consistent months coming in where you're just making that money on autopilot and you work on other ideas. But really, you have to remember in e-commerce that there is no shortcut secret. People want to say, well, just teach me how to scale and I'll make a lot of money. It's really not like that. The people making a lot of money in e-commerce more often than not are selling multiple products. All right. Yes, there are the tremendous product line launches you'll see that do very, very well, but those are also the fewer. Just because you see the screenshot doesn't mean that a lot of people are having those same results that one person did, and they're probably one of a handful of people that are having those types of results. So, let it be that motivation that is possible, of course, and that's something that anybody should strive for. I haven't, I've hit some products that have sold like $25,000, $30,000, $40,000. I have one right now that's on its trajectory to do that alone, sell $35,000, $40,000 worth of product on one item. But as far as a store goes and doing consistent, 2 to 3K days, you want to rely more on having several products, because a lot of times those people that have those giant like supernova campaigns, they're supernovas because they burn quickly and then they're done, right? And then it's on to the new product because they burn through their audience as quick as possible to get those really big paydays. Again, there's nothing wrong with that because it's a lot of money at once, but it also is a lot of headache at once because it's a ton of orders to manage. So, there's a lot of different perspectives on it, but I think at this point, I'm really happy closing out this video and what we've learned and what we've accomplished to this level. And again, just letting you know to get to the next level, to get from $100 to $200 days up to $400 to $500 days, it's just a matter of continuing to scale what I have and getting a couple more winning items in this lineup here, having top five winning items here, all running at $5 to $15 a day, bringing in consistent sales. Ideally more, probably all of them running like $15 a day, all of them down around the $4 or $5 cost per purchase, adding up to be like 25 to 30 sales a day, bringing you in anywhere from around $500 in revenue a day. All right, and then you can see how it continues to scale. You just need to know your numbers and understand the numbers in this business, and you'll be able to set your trajectory and set your goals for where you want to grow. And then once you start having some niches, you can start focusing in on those niches as well, building relevant collections, which will get you more money coming in. Test out some upsell apps if you want to. I just haven't personally. And remarket new products to those people as you know that they're already buyers on the item that you've been selling, if it's something that's highly related and relevant to what they already bought, right? So that's everything I have for you in this video. Please let me know if you have any questions about anything based in this or really up to this point, because the next video is going to be on custom merchandise. I'm not redoing an ads video for custom merchandise because it's the same exact thing, same guidelines for every single type of product you sell. All right, one of the reasons that I use a general micro ad set theory is because it works for all different types of products and businesses. All right, If you do something like manual clicks, for example, manual clicks are very specific, I think, towards like apparel items and custom merchandise, and that's fine. But this strategy, this ad strategy, will work on anything, and that's why I use it. So there's not going to be another ads video after a custom merchandise like it's different. I just want to do custom merchandise because the thought process is a little bit different, and the designing process, obviously, what apps to use, how to create the shirts and get your ad ready, all of that is a little bit different because you're selling apparel as opposed. And I want to talk about the benefits and all kinds of stuff like that as well, because custom merchandise is where I think the biggest opportunity in e-commerce is right now, even though it's a little bit higher of a barrier to entry because you have to have some design skills or be willing to outsource a designer, which costs money. So that's what's coming next, and then after that's an outsourcing video, and then after that, I believe I'll have a closing thoughts video on like growth and expansion. So this is really it up to this point, proving the dropship business model works. And then in the future, I guess as the store progresses, I might be able to create a new video updating as if we get some bigger ads running or we have a lot of products running at once. Maybe when we get to that $1,000 day or something like that. So, because I do want to keep running the Bold and Social store, but as I mentioned in the video that I posted in the group recently, right now I'm going to be focusing a lot of my attention on a new business, which is I'm excited about. I'm really excited about it. I just bought the domain name today, getting everything launched and ready, using Shopify with it, but it's a much bigger opportunity than anything I'm working on right now. So the Bold and Social store, I want to keep running for the sake of the group, and because I want to see, I would love to get higher numbers in a live audience type setting to really do some good in the e-commerce industry and do something different that's not being done in the e-commerce industry. But at the same time, my biggest return on my time is going to be spent in building this new business, because that's something that is just a monstrous opportunity, multi seven figures I see over the next couple of years. Hopefully, that's my intention and where I see the opportunity being. Now, I just got to execute on that plan and on that growth with my two business partners that we formed the LLC together. So that's kind of where my head's at. But of course, at the same time, I will try to continue running some new stuff on the Bold and Social store to see if I can get some other winners running on here. See if we can get to like 5 winners. I think that would be ideal. And I got 2, so I just got 3 more slots to fill out. So anyway, again, I'm done now. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to drop that below. Otherwise, it's been awesome teaching you all of this and going through all this up until this point. There's a lot more coming, but I'm kind of wrapping up the drop shipping business model, and next we'll be getting into the custom merchandise, and then finally, like I said, outsourcing and building your team, and really kind of just rounding out this entire course. So we are getting to the end, but the custom merchandise is going to be a big video, and I look forward to going over that with you. So I will see you in the next one. Talk to you later. Have a great day.